There absolutely should be room for queer people in the church. As I've been on this journey in the last 5 years, I've come to know the most amazing, incredible people I've ever met in my life, both in the LGBTQ community, but also parents and allies as well. These are people who continue to be marginalized, continue to be beat up, and pushed towards the edges and pushed out of the pews and not being welcomed. And the church, society, everywhere is so much better off with LGBTQ people in it. And how do we change it? I don't know, other than it's got to be kind of a grassroots movement. I think, first off, queer people need to change the dynamics. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to change the narrative, speak out when we can in kind ways, which is hard to do a lot of times when you're being persecuted. But yeah, we just need to keep winning people over. And as we tell stories and share our experiences, I think people's hearts and minds begin to change, and people can see us as not something horrible, but it's wonderful people that we are.
So there's definitely room for queer people in Judaism, especially Reform and Reconstructionist Judaism. I don't know about all the spaces, but I was also involved in the Interfaith Council at UVU, and that was a really cool experience for me as a secular Sephardic Jew, secular-ish Sephardic Jew. And I think in religious spaces where we all congregate together as different religions, there's a lot of room for queer people because we are all beautiful and unique in the way that we are and the way we believe things. And it was a really cool experience serving on that Interfaith Council. I learned a lot about myself, about others, about other religions. And I think what can be done for us queer people to make us feel more welcome and included is having representation from the Bima, which is like the altar, I guess, whatever, in Judaism, and to love each other, like love thy neighbor, like that doesn't just come from the New Testament, it comes from the Old Testament. Love thy neighbor as you would thyself.
From my experience, a lot of big religious communities have not been accepting or inviting to queer people in just any general sense. And I feel bad because I know a lot of queer people that want to identify with that religion, but they just can't because it goes against their religion's doctrine.
I used to think that I could be the bridge. I used to think that I could be the bridge between religion and queer, or spirituality and queer. And I realized that as long as there are rules and regulations as to who a person should be or how they should be, I don't think there can be a bridge. I don't think that that those two worlds can cohabitate and that they can be one. And so
I feel like a lot of people don't think that spirituality and sexuality or gender orientation don't go hand in hand, but I personally think that they go directly hand in hand. Because who would you be without all these different aspects about yourself? You should definitely be able to express every part of you. Sexuality, gender orientation, spirituality, religious values, that should be your choice to express. And as long as it doesn't hinder anyone else, then it's beautiful in any way that it can be.
I think the best way to allow people to navigate their life and be figure out what they want to do, to be spiritual, to be queer, to unify both, is to understand that we were someplace before that we are not now. That we used to be something that we don't necessarily agree with anymore, right? That I used to tell people that we knew a group of people were going to be destroyed once they embraced homosexuality. I remember saying that. I remember sitting in a bus with some of my friends saying that when a community accepts homosexuality, that is when they are destroyed. And there's all this evidence in the Bible. And for me to sit here and understand, and to remember, what I was before is not who I am now, gives me compassion for other people in their journey and in their processes that I probably in 10 years from now will even change from what I am now. is that that's how we hold space for one another, is remembering that we no longer think the way that we used to, and that people can think what they want now, and that may change for them, or what they thought before isn't what they think now, and then that's all okay.